Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you guys another fragrance from Creed, and it's Jardin d'Amalfi. And I'm really excited to review it for you. I'm going to get kind of a little talky into this video. So the first half of this video is going to be the review part, and the other half is going to be kind of more of a let's talk about this fragrance kind of thing. So if you guys would like to know what I think about Creed, Jardin d'Amalfi, and how it performs and projects, if it's worth the money, and any other tidbits or thoughts I have on this fragrance, then keep watching. So first things first, this is when I have it in. This is one of the Creed atomizers. You guys, I love these so much. They're like candy to me. I see all the different colors and I'm just like, oh, I need them all. But I started off with the gold one just because I feel like it is really pretty to me. I don't know. Anyway, in here is Creed Jardin d'Amalfi. I'll show you real quick. This is the atomizer. And I'll get more in depth on this when I do my haul. Just kind of show you how it works. So you unscrew this, and then here is your fragrance, and if you're wondering, that is 1.7 ounces. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the fragrance. I'm wearing something completely not this today, otherwise I'd spritz it and let you guys know about the opening, but that would clash completely with what I'm wearing today. Anyway, top notes are tangerine, lemon, bergamot, pink berries, and neroli. The base notes are cedarwood, French apple, and Bulgarian rose. And then the base notes are vetiver, white musk, and cinnamon. Now, like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about this fragrance, kind of go into my thoughts of the fragrance, and give you guys a summary of what other people think of the fragrance. But I'm just let you guys know right off the bat, I actually really enjoy this fragrance. It works really well on my skin. First and foremost, the opening of this is a blast of citrus with a beautiful crispness from the neroli. And then as it warms up on your skin, it gets a little bit more tart and bitter from the vetiver and the apple. Now, the rose and the cinnamon and the musk and the cedarwood work really well to kind of then warm everything up and add a very nice base for everything else to stick to. So generally, overall, the lifespan of this fragrance, you get a very kind of like crisp, almost bitter citrus note. It's really, really nice and very refreshing. This is marketed as a feminine or a unisex, more feminine fragrance, but I do think this is something that could work well on anybody, and I also think that this is a fantastic daytime fragrance, specifically in the summer. It's really, really nice, but it also is very appropriate for the evening because it just has a nice depth to it that I think would work really well for evening-like activities. I don't know what you do in the nighttime, but it works for me. When it comes down to longevity, on my skin, 8 to 10 hours, so this lasts a very long time, and it has wonderful sillage. It's a little bit longer than arm's length, and it's a very pleasant scent cloud. Now, it works on my skin, and this is where we're going to start talking about the fragrance. Overall, review-wise of this fragrance, it's a beautiful summertime crisp fragrance. I like the cinnamon and the apple, and the cedarwood and the vetiver, and this really win it over for me. It takes it to another level of just another citrus fragrance. Definitely reminds me, if I had ever been to the Amalfi Coast, it definitely reminds me of being by coastal cities on the sea, because I have grown up on the beach, all up and down everywhere. So I do kind of have an idea of what kind of like citrus groves and beautiful scenery is supposed to kind of be transportive or take you to, and it does kind of remind me of things like that. Very cool, very crisp, very sophisticated. But some people have an issue with this fragrance, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that with you because this is a review. And sometimes with some fragrances, I need to step out of my opinions and if it works for me and let you guys know what other people think as well. A lot of other reviews on YouTube that talk about this fragrance, love and hate. And I definitely recommend, if you're interested in purchasing this fragrance, because it is Creed, it has the Creed price, it is very expensive. I think it's worth the money, not everyone does, so do make a very informed decision. My reviews are always consumer reviews. I'm not coming at you as an expert. But I'll just kind of break it down. I've been reading reviews on this for like 2 weeks. I've been watching different videos, and I've come to the conclusion that this is one of those fragrances that's not polarizing, but definitely not for everybody. by that is the two notes that people seem to have an issue in with this fragrance, with their quantities, is the vetiver and the neroli. Some people think it becomes too bitter. Some people think that it almost smells too feminine or too floral. And for the price of this fragrance, some people think that it smells too basic, too inexpensive. It doesn't smell like anything special. And to those people, I say you are correct. I will always say that whenever it comes to fragrance reviews, everyone's body chemistry is different. Everyone's tastes are subjective. Everyone's going to have their own idea of what works for them or what doesn't, which is why I usually say find a fragrance reviewer or somebody who has the same tastes as you, that you think that your tastes and, you know, idea of what you think is worth it align. And that's usually the person I would say to take their reviews with a little bit more weight than anybody else's. So if you guys like my taste in fragrances, if you like my reviews, if you feel like we got the same nose, then definitely take this review with a little bit more weight than others. But I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about what other people have said, because I feel like when it comes down to expensive fragrances, and you might only watch 1 or 2 videos to review it. And so maybe if this is the only video you watch, I do want you to get information on both sides. Some people, it does pull way too bitter, to the point where they almost have to scrub it off. For some people, it's been pulling too floral, to the point where it's not so much a unisex feminine fragrance as it's mostly a feminine fragrance. And you guys know, I think fragrances are genderless, but when it comes down to people's tastes, some people align themselves to, if we were to walk into a fragrance counter and you have the male fragrance counter and the female fragrance counter, which place are you more likely to buy fragrances? Which area are you most likely to enjoy the fragrances and want to smell like? And that's kind of what I mean by masculine and feminine. If you're a guy and you find yourself leaning more towards the feminine fragrances, you go for it, you do whatever. Same thing with women. So if you're one of those people that like to align yourself more towards the men's side of the fragrance world, for some people this does pull a little bit too floral and a little bit too fruity on your skin. And that's if you have the type of skin that maybe hides the cedarwood, that maybe doesn't pull out as much of the vetiver, and maybe just really brings out the sweetness of the apple and the sweetness of the old neroli, rather than the balance of everything that it has together. Overall, I think that this is a fragrance I would definitely recommend testing on your skin first. I always recommend that with any fragrance. There's only a few fragrances I think that are safe to test. I do think this is a very safe, easy to understand fragrance, so when it comes down to you testing it and buying blind, I think that you could buy this blind if you like citrus, bright, crisp fragrances. But because it is so expensive, and because the notes do tend to vary differently on other people's skin, I feel like this is a fragrance to really decide if it's worth the money. You should definitely sample it first. Now on my skin, this opened up after about 45 minutes. So what I would say, if this is a fragrance you're interested in, if you go to the mall, don't wear any fragrances. Don't wear anything. Go to the counter, tell the person you want to sample only this fragrance. And then spray it how you would normally apply your perfume or your fragrance. If it's 4 spritz, 6 spritz, say you want to purchase it or you're interested in, but you need time to test it. And then walk around for at least an hour, maybe 2 or 3. If you're going to be at the mall for a few hours, make this your first stop. Walk around, test it out, see if it works. See if it pulls too bitter, see if it pulls too fruity, or maybe, like me, one of the lucky ones, everything is very well balanced. But I know that that's how my skin is. My skin pulls different notes differently, and it balanced this fragrance out beautifully to where this is a complete winner. And I did sample this before I purchased it. I just kind of want to let you guys know. I'd sampled this a little bit before I decided to get the atomizer and the fragrance. So this is something that I didn't just buy blind right off the bat. It is something that I had thought about for a while. But I have smelled it on other people, and it has been vastly different than on me. So that's kind of like why I wanted to tell you guys a little bit what other people think about this fragrance, because it is Creed, because it is luxury, because it is expensive, and because it can pull one way or the other. Those are my thoughts on this fragrance. Again, I always like to recap at the end. It has fantastic longevity. Great longevity on my skin, 8 to 10 hours. It has a wonderful projection just past arm's length. It's really pleasant to be around. On my skin, it's a very bright, crisp, somewhat bitter fragrance. with a little bit of warmth underneath from the cinnamon and the wood, but I feel like on my skin all the notes are ridiculously well balanced and play well together. So overall, I really love this fragrance, but I would definitely recommend sampling it first. If you guys have any questions on this fragrance, if you have any experience of your own on this fragrance, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to have a conversation about fragrances. It's one of my favorite things to do. And as always, guys, if you like my videos, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it's free and I'm free and I pull out new video. Put out. Why do I say that? I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends as well, so I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever, and I'll see you next time.